Have you ever stared at a piece of paper that completely rewrites your past, your present, and your future all at once? The receipt wasn't for a secret gift or a lavish purchase. It was from a high-end couples therapist on North Michigan Avenue, dated 2 weeks prior. The names listed weren't mine and my wife's. They were Sarah and Mark, my wife's name, and the name of the man she'd introduced as her new mentor at the investment firm. The ink on that flimsy thermal paper glowed under the dim kitchen light, a quiet testament to a betrayal so deep it didn't just break my heart, it vaporized it. And in that silent, sterile kitchen, I knew my marriage wasn't just overwrit, was a lie that had to be systematically dismantled. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. It started subtly, as these things always do. Late nights at the office became more frequent. Closing a huge deal, babe. Sarah would text the words sterile and distant.
Ow.
Her phone, once left carelessly on the coffee table, was now permanently attached to her hand, its screen angled away from me with a practiced flick of the wrist. She started talking about Mark constantly. Mark says I need to be more aggressive with my portfolio. Mark took the whole team to Gibson's bar and steakhouse to celebrate. He was this phantom figure, this untouchable genius who was sculpting my wife into a corporate shark. I tried to be supportive. I'd have a hot meal waiting for her when she'd stumble in at 11 p.m., smelling of expensive perfume in the cold Chicago air. She'd peck me on the cheek, her eyes already distant, her mind still in some high-rise boardroom I wasn't invited into. The humiliation was a slow burn. At a charity gala at the Drake Hotel, she introduced me to her colleagues as her sweet, stable rock with a patronizing pat on my arm. Mark, a man with a smug grin and a watch worth more than my car, shook my hand with a grip that was a little too firm, his eyes lingering on Sarah a moment too long. He looked right through me. I wasn't a husband. I was a piece of furniture in the background of her fabulous new life. She became a stranger in our own home. One night I woke up at 3 a.m. to find her side of the bed empty. I found her in the living room, silhouetted against the panoramic view of the city lights from our Lincoln Park apartment, whispering into her phone. When she saw me, she snapped, "Can a person get some privacy? I'm talking to a client in Hong Kong." Her voice was like ice. The warmth we'd shared for a decade had evaporated, replaced by a brittle, defensive anger. That was the night the floor fell out from under me. I felt a cold dread seep into my bones. The next day, while she was in the shower, I did something I never thought I'd do. Went through her purse, and there it was, tucked into a side pocket of her Louis Vuitton, the receipt that started it all, couples therapy. With him, it wasn't just an affair. It was a calculated parallel life. They weren't just sleeping together. They were planning a future, working on their issues with a professional while I was at home, making sure the damn dishwasher was loaded. The breakdown was silent and total. I sat on our bedroom floor for an hour, the receipt in my hand, my world reduced to a 4 by 6 inch piece of paper. The love, the trust, the shared dream saw of it, a puff of smoke. But then, something else rose from the ashes. A cold, clear, and terrifying resolve. She thought I was a sweet, stable rock. I was about to become a goddamn wrecking ball. The first step was a new lawyer. Not our family lawyer, but a shark from a downtown firm known for eviscerating spouses in high-set divorces. I paid him a retainer in cash. My instructions were simple. I want to leave her with nothing but the consequences of her actions. For the next 3 months, I became a ghost in my own life. I played the part of the oblivious, loving husband. I'd kiss her goodbye in the morning and wish her luck on her big deals. But my days were spent building a fortress of evidence. I hired a private investigator, a grizzled ex-cop who documented their lunch dates that stretched for hours, their weekend trips to a boutique hotel in Lake Geneva, their hands intertwined as they walked down Rush Street. I got copies of their hotel bills, credit card statements showing lavish gifts, even screenshots of their sickeningly sweet social media exchanges on private accounts. The crown jewel was when Sarah, in a moment of supreme arrogance, asked me to co-sign on a new investment property. "It's a formality, honey, for the mortgage," she'd said, her smile never quite reaching her eyes. My lawyer's eyes lit up. "We let her buy it," he said, a predatory grin spreading across his face. "We let her put her name, and only her name, on the title. We'll use our shared assets for the down payment, which we will meticulously document. The trap was set. The public exposure was planned with surgical precision. Sarah was being honored at a major industry awards dinner. She was set to receive the Woman of the Year award from the Chicago Finance Association. 200 of the city's most influential people would be there. Mark would be at her table, the proud mentor. The night of the event, I told her I had a stomach bug and couldn't make it. Poor baby, she'd cooed. Her sympathy as fake as her Chanel bag. Rest up, I'll tell you all about it. As she stood at the podium, bathed in the spotlight, beginning her acceptance speech about integrity and partnership, my lawyer served her. A process server in a tuxedo walked right up to the stage and handed her the divorce papers. The room fell silent. Her face, projected onto two massive screens, went from triumphant to ashen in a split second. But I wasn't done. At that exact moment, a pre-scheduled email was sent to the entire guest list. The board of her company and the heads of every major financial firm in the city. Subject line, a story of integrity and partnership. It contained the PIS entire file. Get the photos, the hotel receipts, the therapy bills, and a detailed breakdown of how she and Mark had used company funds for their romantic getaways, disguised as business expenses. It detailed how she deleveraged our marital assets to secure a property she intended to share with her lover. The fallout was immediate and catastrophic. She was fired the next morning. Mark was fired alongside her, his own wife filing for divorce an hour later. The investment property was now her sole liability, a financial anchor that would drag her down for years. She was a pariah, left her with the apartment, now an empty shell filled with ghosts and the crushing weight of her choices. The last time I saw her, she was screaming at me on the steps of the courthouse, her face a mask of rage and disbelief. She didn't look like the powerful woman I had once loved. She just looked ruined. Today, the silence in my new, smaller apartment is deafening, but it's a clean silence. Sometimes I look out at the city lights, the same lights that once framed her betrayal, and I feel nothing at all.